And we are joined now by Dr. Tara Chelicani, who is a licensed professional counselor and CEO of Preferred Behavioral Health, which is an organization dedicated to promoting emotional well being. We need that on this show, and providing comprehensive mental health services across communities, something that people always overlook. And we're going to talk about that. With September marking National Self Care Month, Dr. Chalikani is here to help us understand why self care isn't just a buzzword, but it is a crucial part of mental health, especially in a time when we have burnout and stress and emotional fatigue hitting record highs. Through her leadership and clinical background, she's been a strong advocate for turning self care into a daily practice, not a once a year reminder. Good to have you on, Dr. Chalikani. Nice to have you.
It's good to be here. Thank you, Ken. And I love talking about this topic.
Good, thank you, and I'm glad you do. I like talking about it too. I have been, I make no bones about it. I have gone to therapy and counseling over the years. It has gotten me through every major hurdle of my life. By the way, not just through bad times. I've gone to therapists in good times when I was like too elated to the point that I was not paying attention to things because I was just over the hill. It helped keep me grounded and gave me perspective. And I think a lot of people overlook that. They think only when I'm depressed and sad I need to go to a therapist. Talk about that a little bit because this is we have an entire month now dedicated to self care, and we need that because people just don't do it, right?
We do. And I love what you're saying. People like you, Ken, are my BFFs because I need more people like you out there normalizing the need for therapy and destigmatizing caring for our mental health. And you're absolutely right. When I have clients sit down in front of me and say, I have nothing bad to tell you today, I celebrate that. That's the goal. And that's when you should stay in therapy because you want to maintain that wellness and that optimal mental health. But counseling and therapy is just one piece of the puzzle. And sometimes for certain people, it's maybe they're not ready or it's unattainable. But there are certainly many other ways that we can care for ourselves to optimize our mental, physical, and spiritual well being.
Yeah, and it is, I love that trio. There is a trio to overall health because you can, mental issues, mental stresses can manifest in physical illness, correct? Look, I suffer from AFib. I know when I'm under stress, I get palpitations, and that can trigger my AFib. So one is directly connected to the other. It's an overall holistic approach you need to have, right?
And that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They think that your mind or your mental health is completely separate from your physical well-being. And we are one whole human body and everything is interconnected. So just little tweaks like taking 5 minutes to do some deep breathing or stepping outside and walking around a block, little things. It doesn't have to be rigorous exercise. It doesn't have to be anything that costs a tremendous amount of money, but little things that you can pepper into your day can have really optimal results. And the fact is that health is wealth. And when we feel great in our bodies, we feel great in our minds and vice versa. So just eating well, getting rest, getting a little exercise, that wards off illness. We're heading into flu season. And listen, when we don't feel well and we're bedbound, we're not happy, right? We're in bed, we're binge watching something, we're feeling sad about ourselves because we don't feel well. So it's all hand in hand work, taking care of
Mhm.
ourselves.
Yeah, my little thing is I reward myself midweek if something really went well and I worked hard for it. I'll go to a place. There's this little place, $30 for 30 minutes. I give you a foot massage or
Ah.
a neck and shoulder massage, and I will go and reward myself with that for $30. That's my little treat to myself, and it is the most rejuvenating, most awesome thing. I look forward to that more than just about anything else. But it's like those little things that help get you through, and it's good for you. Actually, it's good for your body, your lymphatic system, and everything else to do that. So, but I think everybody should find that one thing, whether it's I want to go for a hike because I like it, or I want to spend time with my partner, or whatever. It's part of the overall approach, right? And just because you're the CEO of Preferred Behavioral Health, so you notice the trends. What trends or concerns have you seen recently that make self care more important than ever right now?
Well, I think people generally are under a lot of stress in their lives, whether it's employment issues, financial issues, which then impacts their mental health and well being. And anxiety and depression really rank top for the top one and two spots of the number one reasons why people acquire our services. But substance use is still something that is epidemic in our society, and not just street drugs. I mean, since the pandemic, we've seen people turning to alcohol, even though overall people are drinking less these days. In my world, where we're providing treatment, it's still very prevalent, the legalization of marijuana. So these are the things that you don't want to turn to when you're stressed. You don't want to rely on negative coping skills that will impact your health and be detrimental all the more. So, like you were saying, a 30-minute treat, a massage. I think a lot of people have a faulty belief that self care is selfish, it's indulgent, but it's necessary and it doesn't have to be expensive. There are many things that we can do during the day that are free. I mean, like I said, just stepping outside, if you're in an office, step outside, get some sunlight on your face, breathe some fresh air. Just doing that is helpful. Feeling ambient light, smelling fresh air. I mean, it doesn't have to be something prohibitive or time consuming. Like I always tell people, a 10-minute walk will boost your mood for hours. So that's free. It doesn't have to be an expensive gym or anything that feels prohibitive. And it's also very personal. You mentioned a hike. I'm not a hiker. I love to walk. I love to ride my bike. I love to do yoga. I'm a sailor, but that's my story. So everyone needs to find what works for them. And if it puts a smile on your face, if it makes you feel good, then you know you found your thing.
That's excellent advice. I mean, I'm not so much a hiker, I'm more of a walker. My other half is a hiker, but we get that that's an intentional thing so that we could spend time together. That's I notice when we go hiking together, that's when we do our conversing and because I notice you never get heated when you're hiking, heated in terms of like getting angry with each other because you're kind of diverted because you're concentrating on the hike. So you tend on just referring to the good stuff around you as opposed to any negative thoughts. You just leave those behind. We love
Sure.
spending that time together. We only have about 30 seconds left, Doctor. I wanted to hit just, and I should have given you more time for this. Why do we have such a stigma about mental health? You know, if somebody has the flu, they don't hesitate to get treated for it. If someone has a cut, they don't hesitate. Why is it that mental health has such a stigma attached?
Well, I think it's very historical in nature. And I think that, in the past, we didn't have correct names for what people were experiencing. And in my world, I always say, if you can name it, you can tame it. So when you don't call something by what it actually is, it creates these negative feelings. So I think historically that was part of it. And we use words like crazy or weak, and no one wants to be either of those things. But if we make it normal, it's just part of life. We're human beings, we're feeling beings. We're going to have emotions. We're going, just like we're going to catch a cold. One out of two people, every person on the earth will feel depressed at some point in their life. So we're not alone. And I think that that's another piece. People feel very alone and isolated, or they feel like no one else is going through what they're going through. So if we have conversations like this, Ken, if we talk on, the soccer fields when the kids are playing about who our therapist is instead of who's cutting our hair, it becomes less and less stigmatized. So I applaud you and thank you for being open and honest and having this dialogue with me, because we're going to help people today.
Amen. Let's do it. And what's a website, Doctor, for people to get more information about preferred behavioral health?
Preferredbehavioral.org is our website. We're on the same name on all social media platforms. We offer great advice, great services, and we're always here to help New Jersey.
That is awesome. Licensed professional counselor, CEO of Preferred Behavioral Health, preferredbehavioral.org. Dr. Tara Chalicani, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Please come back.
My pleasure, Ken. Thank you.
You bet.